Hey everyone, and welcome back. Or if this is your first sit at the table, welcome, and thanks for joining us as we talk about all things nerdy and gaming. I'm Alex,
I'm Paul.
and today's topic that we have for you is stagnation in gaming. Basically, how long is too long for a game series to go on for? Should we see a Call of Duty 50, or does that just sound ridiculous? But before we get into that, let's catch up for the week. What have you been up to this week, Paul?
Honestly, this really the last few weeks, I've been pretty busy, but I did manage to actually get to sit down and play stuff. I've mostly been playing the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, honestly. I finished the campaign actually.
Nice. Nice. And what'd you think of it?
Oof. I thought it was good, honestly, like the flow was nice and whatnot. However, some of the missions, man, like what are you doing? Like, I don't want to go into spoilers, but they start off really fun and then they just turn in to an absolute nightmare. I'm like, this is not fun anymore. This is just a chore. So it kind of soured it for me, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I've also been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and I don't think I have anything nice to say about it. Um,
I should ask, what difficulty are you playing it on?
do you have to ask? There's an achievement for beating it on veteran, so I'm going through on veteran. All right. And I
Ugh.
have a couple of quarrels with the game. The first is veteran seems so much more difficult than it has been because I've played all the other Call of Duties on veteran.
Mhm.
I've played Halo on legendary. I like to get those achievements if they exist. And this one has just been a nightmare. There I won't go into spoilers even though I really want to. There have been a few times where enemies have spawned behind me where when there's no good place for them to spawn behind me, there have been times where I felt that there were a ton of enemies. There were like 8 armored guards at a single point, and I had no ammo because you start the mission with no weapon. Um, it just seems difficult for the sake of being difficult, almost as if because you played through these and you didn't play through on veteran, right?
No.
And I'm sure you know exactly which missions I'm talking about, and I'm sure you had similar issues.
Oh yeah. Like that's what made it a nightmare for me, and I thought it was ridiculous because I was just playing on like regular, normal, like, you know?
Yeah. So I wonder if maybe they made it more difficult to expand the playtime of the main campaign. But even at that, that's not what people play Call of Duty for. That's only what I play Call of Duty for. I don't really play the multiplayer. So I don't know. It just seemed difficult for the sake of being difficult, not difficult for the sake of being fun or for like a challenge. It was just, hey, we're going to make this annoyingly difficult for you to do. That's my first gripe. The second is it is confusing that it's Modern Warfare 2, even though we already had a Modern Warfare 2. That still is hard for me to get my head around. I think you told me this was a soft reboot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still very confusing. I don't understand. So I've given up trying to understand. I just played the game. I haven't beat it yet because I'm fairly certain that I'm close to the end. There's a glitch on one of the missions. A glitch that it's if you Google elevator glitch in Modern Warfare 2, you'll find everyone
Okay.
talking about it. There's a point in the mission where you have a briefcase and you have no weapon and you're in an elevator. You run out of the elevator and I'm on veteran mode. There's 2 armored guards there. I guess you're not supposed to go that way. You're supposed to go left instead. But I decided, well, what if I just hide in the elevator and crouch and maybe they won't see me? Maybe I'll get lucky. Well, if you stay in the elevator or go back in the elevator doors close and they never reopen. And
That's
I
stupid.
I hit a checkpoint at that part. So if I revert to last checkpoint, it puts me in the elevator still. I have to start that mission over. That is the only way to get out of it.
Okay, and I will
Which
say again, no spoilers, but obviously I finished it, so I know exactly what you're talking about, like outside of the glitch. It's not easy to get to where you got either.
mm-mm, no, it took me a long time to get there because again, it was the enemies just seem to always know where you are. So if you walk past a certain point, you trigger the enemies to either spawn or start interacting. That there are certain parts that I feel are segmented off, right? So if you're in a room, let's say let's say you're in a room and then there's a doorway, not a door, just a doorway into another room. So two rooms. In the second room, let's say there's 5 enemies. It doesn't matter what you do in that first room. Those 5 enemies aren't going to come into that first room until you walk past that doorway, almost as if there's like a trigger for it. So you walk through the doorway, then the enemies will interact and try to kill you or whatever. And as soon as they're interacting, it seems almost like they know exactly where you are. I haven't been able to hide very well. I'll step around a corner with my sights aimed down because I have an idea of like sweeping and where they are. And as soon as I step around the corner, they shoot me. One shot, dead. Almost as if they knew that I was there and they were waiting for me to pop out. But if I would have gone the other way, they would have shot me there too. I feel like the AI always knows exactly where you are, and I don't like it. I think they made it harder just for the sake of being harder. Maybe they just don't know how to code very well. Maybe they're just not very good at it, but it seems more difficult than it's ever been. And that's and they there's a fucking bug in the game. How do you not catch that one? How do you not catch the what happens if I hide in the elevator from the enemies? What happens if I go back into the elevator? That seems like that was my first response. When I walked out the door and I saw these 2 armored guys and they killed me, I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to go out and try to go back in the elevator." That seems like a logical first response. That's my big gripe with the game. Um, Other than that, we talked about it in our last episode. I tried to play Scorn.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm too stupid.
Oh,
I'm too stupid to play Scorn. I don't understand what's going on. I did not get very far. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand the puzzles. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. It is not very user friendly, at least in the beginning. I think I'm too stupid to play the game.
yeah. As I said in that episode, I ended up just stumbling on somebody's playthrough. Yeah, it is. It does not hold your hand like
Nope.
not even like hold your hand. It's like Resident Evil status. It chops off your hand. Like bye. Um, yeah, interesting game though. I will say.
It's interesting. I would like to play it, but I also don't really want to watch a walkthrough of the whole game and then play the whole game.
Right.
I wish it was a little bit more friendly. I'm all for games that are difficult and make you really think about it. This one, I have no I like I don't have a map, so I don't know where I've been and where I haven't been. I have no sense of direction. And there's a billion I felt almost as if there were 5 different areas that I could go to with 5 different sets of puzzles and things that you have to do, and I didn't know in which order I should start tackling them, and that made me feel very overwhelmed. Um, so I don't know if it's a game that I'm ever gonna finish. I am not smart enough, I think.
Honestly, like, I get it. I love puzzles, but I suck at them. And I will say for that game, again, no spoilers, uh, most playthroughs are about 2 hours long, and I would argue that the game in and of itself is really only about 45 minutes to 50 minutes of content. And the
Really
rest of the time is just, what do I do with this puzzle?
interesting. So it's a you can beat this game. Your first playthrough will be 15 hours, but if you go back and you know how to do all the puzzles, it's really 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't like that.
Yeah, I
But
don't either.
to each their own, I guess. So we can move on to the junk drawer if you want to clean that out for the day. Do you have anything in the junk drawer you want to talk about?
I didn't think I did originally, but I think I do have something spurred on what you were saying some of your complaints are with Call of Duty about the elevator bug. Uh and you said, how did they not catch this? I remember reading about it actually. And I think part of the reason they didn't catch it, and it honestly annoys me as, someone who works in the creative field, uh that apparently Activision Blizzard laid off a bunch of their QA testers.
Really?
They either laid them off, or because I think they're only being paid like at the most $15 an hour.
Hmm.
And they've been kind of retaliated against because they've been trying to unionize.
Mm.
And like, that just bugs me. Uh because again, as a creative person, it's like you have to understand what we do is important, and it takes a lot of time to get it done. So that kind of bothers me. But the only other thing that and I will say this one's a good story, is that they just announced that the D&D movie that's going to come out got delayed because of scheduling conflicts. So, it's nice to see that they're staying true to the source material.
Hmm. Ha,
Uh,
I get it. Did it really get delayed or
it did. No, it actually did.
for that
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah, for scheduling conflicts.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It wouldn't be D&D without scheduling conflicts. So,
Without half of the party not showing up.
yeah, pretty much. But that's
Yeah.
about all that's in my junk drawer.
Okay, cool. I had something, but I forgot it. Yeah.
It's okay. That
Oh,
happens to me
I
all the time.
remember. No, 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 I
Okay.
remember. So we just moved out of October. We just moved out of spooky season.
Yeah.
I have a little rant.
Oh, let's hear it.
I don't think there were enough spooky games that came out in spooky season.
Hmm.
It's spooky season. In a perfect world, I know I was playing Assassin's Creed, but I want to play a lot of like horror games. And I don't think that horror games, horror movies should be isolated to just the month of September, October. But I think there wasn't enough this year. There was the Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed, Scorn. Now that I look at it more, it doesn't seem like I wouldn't classify it as a horror game at all. The Resident Evil expansion for Resident Evil, what was it, 8? Winter's Village? Village
Right.
Winter?
Mhm.
Village? Jesus. The Winter's expansion. Aside from that, I don't think there was a whole lot. And if you look at like some of the remakes that they're doing, like Resident Evil 4 remake, that comes out March of next year. Did you say March or April?
March 24th, I think it was.
March of next year. So I don't know. I was kind of disappointed. Spooky season doesn't feel like spooky season this year, and it made me sad. I feel like there
And
just wasn't enough gaming content that was in October that was, spoopy.
And honestly, I think that's fair. Like, obviously, we've talked about it before. I don't do like horror games, but yeah, like I don't remember seeing because like in my opinion, especially during spooky season, like that's when you see, all the stuff hit YouTube and whatnot, of people playing them. And like, yeah, it wasn't new stuff. It was just, hey, we're playing this again because, spooky. Um, I mean, and on top of what you talked about, I think the last like big thing was they added some new killers or whatever to like Dead by Daylight or something like that. But yeah, there wasn't any spooky stuff, which is weird because even though I don't play spooky games, I will say like now's kind of like the ideal time of the year. It's like fall or whatever it is, right? It's getting cooler outside, darker earlier and everything. Like that's peak spooky for me at least.
Yeah. So I just pulled up an article here, and here's major games for October 2022: Overwatch 2, PGA Tour, Lego Brick Tales, Scorn, Dragon Ball: The Breakers, Plague Tale: Requiem, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Gotham Knights, New Tales from the Borderlands, Modern Warfare 2, Bayonetta 3, Star Ocean: The Divine Force, and Resident Evil Reverse. There's
It's just holiday games. What? Like holiday season stuff.
Yeah, these are all a lot of these, right? Mario Rabbids, I would have expected that to be closer to November, December because you're going into like Q4 Christmas season.
Right.
Same with Modern Warfare. Honestly, usually those games come out in not October, November, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Battlefields, Call of Duties usually come out because again, they're trying to make sales for the end of the year. It's Christmas season. It's the biggest season. October, I feel like, I could be wrong. I feel like is usually more of a dead month in games released, and there were no horror games really.
Oh.
Even the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, they're doing, if you've played the Dark Pictures anthology, they're doing another one, and it comes out November 18th, it looks like.
See, and that's disappointing because I mean you and I think played through like the first one that ever came out. Um that's like peak horror. Like that's literally what that is.
Yeah, exactly. The Callisto Protocol,
Mm-hmm.
um, that one is December 2nd. From what I'm looking at here. It looks like a December release date.
Jeez.
And it literally says in the Wikipedia article, the Callisto Protocol is an upcoming survival horror video game. But it's December. I don't know. I'm not saying that all horror games have to be in October. I'm just saying that October of this year seemed to be lacking in anything spooky. Maybe it's because of life events and things in my personal life. Maybe it's because of this. I don't know. But spooky season did not feel like spooky season this year. And I'm going to blame gaming for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yep. And with that, we'll go ahead and close up the junk drawer. I think that's all we have today. We can jump into the main topic. So, the main topic that we were kind of discussing is stagnation in gaming. How long should these series go on for? In my mind, seeing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 70 sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but
Yeah.
you looked it up right before. How many Call of Duties exist right now to
Oh
date?
yeah, I have the whole list up right here actually. So arguably mainline titles, there is now 20,
Hmm.
but that doesn't count like some of the ones that came out that were like quote unquote spin-offs for like PC way back in the day, like Big Red One and Finest Hour. So the argument could be made that it's like 23 or 25 if you include the mobile games that they've done now.
Yeah, I would include all of those. There are 25 Call of Duties, so it's very realistic that next year they could say, "Welcome everyone to Call of Duty 26." And I think that's a little ridiculous.
Honestly, I think it's kind of big ridiculous. Like we opened up the Call of Duty can of worms here. Um, like it goes to when we were just talking about, we've been playing it. Um, it's just not really changing. And in my opinion, I think one of the big issues with it, with this new one, Modern Warfare 2 2022, is they're they've added some new mechanics, and I'm like, these are bad, and you're forcing it down my throat.
I would agree. And here was my thought process. What is the difference? I didn't play last year's Call of Duty Vanguard.
Neither did I.
So I'll use Cold War, which I think was the last one you played as well, right?
Oh yeah.
What is the difference between Call of Duty Cold War and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? Aside from the campaign, because they
Yeah.
do have two completely different stories, which doesn't matter to them, right? Call of Duty Black Ops 4, you have an interesting story about that, don't you? At E3,
Oh, for Black Ops 4, let's see.
where they had no story and you met the game developers.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's
Go
hard to
ahead.
keep my E3 stories on track. Yeah, so I thought it was funny because me personally, like I do play the multiplayer, but like people out there, you have to understand, I suck, okay? I am so bad. But I do enjoy going through the campaigns. So, I forget what year it was or whatever, but I'm at E3, right? And I go to the Call of Duty booth because that's just what you do, right? And I actually got put in a special line, so like I got to talk to the developers and stuff, which was cool. And I was like, so why why is there no single player? Like I really love the single player. Like I will spend the $60 just to play it. And they were like, no, we've kind of wanted to do one, and we had ideas, but they were like, we were told no because we need to focus on the multiplayer because like that's where everybody plays. Um, and like it honestly bummed me out because they were like, we're just spending the development time on what's most popular. But fast forwarding after that, uh, I thought it was funny. Like, what is it? Effectively a year and a half later, right? Like the game has come out now, and the community is complaining because it's like, why does this? They should have done a story,
Hmm.
and it's like, what? Like it just makes me mad. And then like you looked at the next one because I think after Black Ops 4 or yeah, Black Ops 4 was Modern Warfare, right?
The
And
yeah.
the yeah, Modern Warfare 2019,
Hmm.
and people went nuts over it. Like they were like, it's so good to be playing this again. So it's like, but then you'd probably know better because you're the crazy achievement person. Looking at like the number of people that got like the achievement, for example, or the trophy for beating the campaign, like you guys say you want this, and then when they give it to you, you don't even touch it.
Yeah, so I actually just pulled that up
Oh, okay,
uh,
great.
earlier today. I can only go off of Xbox. That's where I primarily play at.
Sure.
But the achievement, Time for Pints, finish the campaign on any difficulty. Xbox, I don't know if PlayStation does the same thing. Xbox does a cool thing where they put in the like percentage of people that have unlocked it. 26 as of today, right? What it launched a week ago, a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
As of today, 26.62% of gamers have unlocked this. I am obviously not one of them because of that stupid fucking mission that I have to restart. But only 26%, we'll round that up to 27%, 20%, 27% of gamers have completed it. So the story doesn't even matter to most people. I I can go back and I can look at the other Call of Duties. That'll take me a little bit longer. But the story doesn't matter. So what is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 except for a brand new multiplayer? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how these games are still doing. And I almost didn't I I didn't buy the game. You bought the game.
Mhm,
I was debating to buy the game, but the thing that held me back was exactly this. Like, here we go. Call of Duty Cold War, Black Ops Cold War. Okay, the
mhm,
not so 2 years ago. Combat Recruit. Complete the single player campaign on any difficulty. 18% of gamers unlock this. This is just on Xbox, right? But less than one fourth, less than 25% of the fan base is actually interested in the story. So it completely makes sense that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 did not have a story. Black Ops 1, 2, 3, and 4 all have the zombies. There's a huge appeal, to me at least, in that zombies mode. I really enjoy the style, the different maps that they bring, all of that. Do I need to buy a whole new 60, now $70 game just for new Black Ops maps for zombies? I would prefer not to. I would prefer to have one centralized platform that I can play all the maps on and I can just keep buying. I'll buy the DLC, the maps,
right.
but I don't understand why we need Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when there was Modern Warfare 1, when there was Vanguard, where there was Cold War. I don't understand why we need a whole new game for a fan base that doesn't play the story, right? Less than 1 out of 4 people play the story, 25%, right? Just for them to add some maps, add some new guns, maybe change up the like the combat a little bit, add in some new mechanics. I'm going to throw a car in there. That's cool, I guess. So, when will Call of Duty be done? When will Call of Duty finally? Uh, I thought they were going to do it with Warzone. I thought
Mhm.
Warzone was going to be their centralized. This is what we're doing. This is where. But I think that was just the
Battle Royale mode.
battle royale.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And it honestly, like, not to derail too much, it arguably gets even worse for that because with the release of this new one, Modern Warfare 2 2022, they're doing a Warzone 2.0 as well. So they're retiring Warzone 1.
I don't like that.
A lot of
I
people
don't.
don't.
I mean, I understand from Activision's point of view that they obviously see profits because people keep buying them,
Oh yeah, they do.
but when will it stop? Will I have to suffer through Call of Duty 50? Halo is the same way, right? The story's
Mhm.
good, don't get me wrong. The
But
last one seemed subpar. What was it? Infinite, right?
yeah.
It's the it seemed subpar. I liked some of the things that they did, but there were a lot of complaints, right? It was supposed to be co-op, which is the whole thing about Halo. I
Yeah.
remember when Halo so I remember when Halo 2 and Halo 3 came out. I didn't have an Xbox at the time and I didn't play Halo at the time, but I had a ton of friends sitting around me back in school and they were all talking about how they were going to the midnight release and they came the next morning tired as hell talking about how they got really far into the campaign, they're playing co-op with all their friends. What the fuck? Like that is the whole thing about Halo. You get
Yeah.
to play with your friends. I think that was the I think that was one of the big things about it. I think it was like it changed up Halo Combat Evolved, right? The Halo 1. It changed up the way that multiplayer worked and PvP. But at least with Halo 2, it changed up how we played games. Like now we could play cooperatively these shooters. I
Yeah,
don't think
especially
that
because
had Go
Halo
ahead.
2 launched, like, I think literally in the cases for Halo 2, right? there was a code to get onto Xbox Live. Like it launched
Mhm,
with Halo 2.
mhm. I remember reading a story a while ago that little off topic. Halo literally built the Xbox. So
Yep,
Microsoft really wanted this game, and they built a console just for Halo.
yep.
Um, but yeah, am I gonna have to suffer through a Halo 20? And should we have to? Should that continue on? And my best relation to this is, do you remember growing up watching things like Hey Arnold, the
Hmm.
Rugrats, Cat Dog, Invader Zim? How many of those got clean endings?
Oof.
Rocco's Modern Life. I think so. I know for sure Rocco's Modern Life and Invader Zim, they rebooted on Netflix to do a like, I
Film.
think it was just a movie, yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of like helped to tie together the ending a little bit more and what had happened. And a more recent example I can give you is I remember I started getting you into watching My Name is Earl.
Love that show.
And it just abruptly ends.
Yep.
So, and that can kill your whole fan base.
Oh yeah.
That can this is the worst series of all time. It was great up until right there at the end. Look at fucking Game of Thrones.
I do not want to open that can of worms.
Exactly. Look at Game of Thrones. Look at how it killed a whole fan base. I think they're I mean, I haven't watched any of the Game of Thrones. Um but you watched the new Dragons
Yeah,
one,
House of Dragons. Yeah.
and I think they're starting to recover from that. And to be fair, I think everything that I've heard, it's all hearsay and read. I think the series diverged from the books. Am I correct on that?
Oh yeah. By like
Yeah.
season 4.
Yeah. And that is the big complaint about why it was ended so terribly, because it wasn't written that way, and they should have just stuck to the book because was written much better.
Hmm.
But my point here is, if you mess something up, you can piss off a whole fan base to the point that they don't trust you anymore, and they don't talk positively, right? They'll be like, "Oh, I'll watch the first, 2 seasons of this and then I'll never watch it again." The Office, I won't watch it after Michael leaves.
Oh,
After oh, I can't
Steve
remember
Carell.
his Steve Carell. After Steve Carell leaves The Office, I can't watch it anymore. Which I think is interesting because you're the opposite. You can only watch it once he leaves.
Yeah.
Uh, but that was the point where the series kind of ended for me. And after that point, I'll be like, all right, well, that it's been a fun series. Let's go back. Even then, there were a few times where it got bad, but I digress there. My point is, I think the gaming industry here should learn from should take lessons from the TV industry and start to wrap up some of these titles.
Yeah.
Halo, I think should have been done a while ago. I don't think Halo. Well, okay, so Infinite was the latest one. There was Guardians, which was not very good, if I remember
That was
correctly.
Halo 5. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even
It was
think you
bad.
played as Master Chief, did you?
You didn't.
The last one
And
you played as
trust me, it
Master
hurts.
Chief was 4.
Yeah.
And Halo 4 was Halo 1, 2, and 3 are obviously the best. Halo
Yeah.
3, I think, is regarded as one of the best out of those 3, which is interesting because usually the first one is the best because of like bias and nostalgia.
It's because we were told 3 is the end.
Yeah. And then they
And
and
trust
then
me,
they
I've
milked
read the
the cash
books and
cow.
everything. Yeah, I've read the books and everything. Like, I mean, talking semi-related to video games, I think it was Paramount. They came out with the Halo TV show,
Mhm. I
and
heard it was
h-
bad.
here's how well it went. Uh, Talking to some friends, they were like, my parents talked to me and they were like, "Yeah, there's this new show. It's called Halo. It's a great show." And you play video games, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly why I'm not going to watch it
Mhm.
because you're enjoying it. So that tells me they've ruined it. And trust me, it hurts me because I love Halo.
Hmm. I know.
I had to literally force myself to finish Infinite.
I didn't hate Infinite as much as everyone else did. I really liked the fact that there was a huge open world between missions. I actually really liked that.
I
The
did
thing that
too.
I didn't like is I couldn't play with friends, and there was this whole thing where you couldn't. I don't know if they fixed it, but after you finished a level, you couldn't go back to it.
Still can't. And
Still
they
can't.
and this is what makes it worse in my opinion, like, talking about things becoming stagnant. Um the arguably the argument maybe could be made that like co-op gaming as we're used to it is kind of going out the window, but not Halo, right? That is what they're built on.
Hmm.
And they announced earlier this year that they, instead of just delaying co-op, they've scrapped it entirely. It's never coming.
Yeah, I remember that, and that. I mean, honestly, there was a point that you and I were going to play the co-op on Infinite,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
wait for you.
I was gonna wait as well. And when I found out that it got delayed, I was like, well, I mean, I don't mind going back through, right? We've gone through the Halos before on our own and together. I don't mind playing it a second time. And I'm really glad that I didn't wait for you because I would never play it, you know?
Yeah,
Because it's not coming. So I don't understand um, that. But kind of back on the topic of like stagnation in gaming and how long should a series go? I'm going to point back to Super Mario, right? So
okay.
Mario kind of launched like the Nintendo, right?
Yeah,
Similar to how Halo launched the Xbox, Mario kind of launched Nintendo. It's literally their most iconic character. And it starts with Super Mario Brothers, the first Super Mario game. I think it's just called Mario Bros. And you play as Mario in this little 8 or 16-bit environment, and you're running around stomping on Koopas, and you're trying to get to the end of World 1-1, then World 1-2, 1-3. You get to the castle, you beat the little Bowser, the King Koopa that's there. I don't think it's officially Bowser. You jump over him, hit the little switch on the other side, the bridge collapses, he falls, you get to the end, there's a toad, and he says, sorry, your princess is in another castle. How many times do you think they could redo, copy and paste that same exact thing and still sell games?
oof. Um,
And I think they realized it pretty quickly. So they
yeah,
did a couple of those, and then they did Super Mario. What was it? It was a Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, where that's where you first. I think that's where you first met Yoshi, and you got to ride around on Yoshi. You got, some familiar power ups. But you went through like this rather than going from one to the next, you had this kind of world map that you got to explore, and there were secret areas, and that changed the whole game.
yeah,
And then flash forward to the Nintendo 64, you have Mario Kart, right? You get to play as your favorite Mario character racing around with other people. You have Mario Tennis now. You have Mario Soccer. I
golf
Mario Golf. Yeah.
and
Um
party,
Mario Party. I forgot about that. That's a good game.
and Mario 64.
You have Super Mario 64, which I think is the greatest Super Mario game, the greatest Mario game of all time. That changed everything for Mario. That, I mean, it went from, because Mario Party, all of those other, they came later. Super Mario 64, you're playing as Mario, and rather than the traditional, I'm going to go from world to world, it's the same formula, by the way. I'm going from world to world, getting to the end of the world, meeting a certain objective, right? In the normal games, it's hitting the flag and just getting through the world. Sometimes there's a secret level. In Super Mario 64, there's what, seven, 7 or 8 stars that you can collect in each world, and there's a ton of different worlds. But it's the same formula, different worlds. They're more detailed, more open ended, I guess, rather than like a linear path,
Yeah,
and it changed the game. And that's why Mario can get so many games without people being like, "Oh, this is just a cash grab." Mario Rabbids, right? Hey,
yeah.
we're going to team up in a whole new way. Nobody's complaining that that's a cash grab. That's
No, and that
literally a
one's fun.
brand new formula. It is fun. I didn't play it, but I've seen people play it, and it looks fun. Um but it's a whole brand new formula. And so Mario they keep re-innovating that. Super Mario Sunshine, right? One of the greatest Mario games of all time. Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Odyssey. They change up the formula and then they go back to the old classic. Then they have the new Luigi Brothers where you get to play as Luigi and he's the main star. They have the 4-player one where you can play as Mario, Luigi, and a couple of Toads. Um, so they at least re-innovate. Assassin's Creed at least re-innovates, kind of, I guess. The story is different each time. I just think, and maybe you might disagree, I think there comes a time where a game series needs to wrap up and say goodbye. There
Yeah,
are there are literally games where gamers are begging. I remember when they remade the Borderlands 2, the Handsome Jack collection
yeah.
for the Xbox One. And people were like, "Well, are you going to redo the first Borderlands?" And what's his name from Gearbox?
Randy Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford. Randy Pitchford was like, "Yeah, if there's enough demand and people want it, yeah, I guess we will." And there was demand and people wanted it and they remade it. And I'm not saying that's a cash grab. I'm happy they redid that. I will gladly pay money for that all over again. You want to remake Red Dead Redemption? I will gladly pay money for that. You want to remake Grand Theft Auto what is it? 5? 6? 6 is the new
Five,
one, right?
yeah.
5.
Five,
Thank you.
yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5, you want to remake that on every single console every single year? You're basically Skyrim now, right?
Yeah,
I need it for my freaking Google Home.
yeah. I mean, hell, Skyrim did the joke, play it on your uh smart speaker. I'll say to spare any false activations.
Oh yeah,
But
I had to
like
be careful with what I said too.
you want to talk like cuz and that's the thing, like I think stagnation goes both ways. Like yeah, we've talked about hey, we don't need Call of Duty 37 necessarily, but like the games that it's like can we have this so it doesn't go die in a ditch? Like again, not my personal thing to play, but I enjoy watching people play them. How about Silent Hill?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're finally getting one. They've said that we're doing one. By the way, release date TBD.
And
Uh,
look at the hype for PT. Look at
oh
how
my god.
everyone was pissed off when PT, because they were doing the Silent Hills game with Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, right?
Yep.
Look how pissed off everyone was that that was not going anywhere. Not that we had that many fans of Silent Hill before that, but PT was it was mind-blowing. It was amazing. It was everything that a horror game should be. All of a sudden it got canceled. But Call of
Yeah.
Duty can have a 50th game.
Yeah.
And to your point, yeah, I think it should work the opposite way too, where Destiny, for example,
Oh.
Destiny 2 came out, what, 8 years ago?
I think I'll look it up.
Yeah, please. Destiny 2 came out a long time ago, and there's no Destiny 3. And I know they're still supporting Destiny 2, but I would like to see a Destiny 3, you
It
know?
came out in 2017.
2017, 5 years ago,
Yep.
if that's how math works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 years ago, Destiny 2 came out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. But Call of Duty in the last since 2017, I have the list up here too, by the way. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Call of Duty Mobile, Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Oh wait, since 2017. Sorry. World War II, Black Ops 4, Mobile, Modern Warfare, Warzone, uh, Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 2. 8 games in those last same 5 years. Or
Yeah.
how long has it been since the last Silent Hill?
Mainline title, 10 years.
10 years, so 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Actually, it might be longer. Let me see. I had it up.
my scroll doesn't even go that far. Oh, I see. That's 2011. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, 18 Call of Duty games in those last 10 years.
Yeah.
18. And some of them are like, this says Call of Duty Online. This is Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified for the PS Vita, right? Call of Duty Strike Team. So some of these seem like they're off brand. I never played Strike Team. I never heard of it until seeing this list. Black Ops 2, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Heroes, no clue what that is. Call of Duty 3, right? Or Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare Remastered. But 18 in the last 10 years, I definitely agree. It should work the other way. There are a lot of games that slip between the like slip through the cracks and don't get the hype that Call of Duty does. When I would argue they're better. Silent Hill? I played Silent Hill Downpour, I think it was called,
Yep.
back on the 360.
And that was the last mainline release, by the way.
Oh, really? Never
Yep.
played the last one. I played that back on the 360.
Hmm.
It was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It ranks in the top 10 because it was great. The story was great. It was scary. It was open world, so you could go through like different areas if you wanted to and explore. It was amazing.
It was thought provoking.
Thought provoking, whatever that means.
Like it made you think, like you're
Listen, I'm not smart enough to play score, and I'm not smart enough to be thought
look,
provoking.
and I'm just saying, like fucking Splinter Cell. Why can't I have another one? Why? They're so good.
Splinter Cell is still Tom Clancy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do the Tom Clancy games. They just
But
do
they
a
don't. They just tease it every time. Like I think the last thing is they were doing a Splinter Cell mobile game, and then before that they threw Sam Fisher into Ghost Recon.
mhm.
Like I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the question we should be asking is what why is this, stagnation happening? Like,
Because Activision knows that they can make money year after year after year after year on Call of Duties.
yeah,
Because Ubisoft knows that they can make money year after year after year after year on these handful of games that they have, right? Assassin's Creed. And they know that they can put out a shit Assassin's Creed, right? Unity is probably one of the worst of all time.
agreed.
And they know that they can put it out, hype it up, people are going to buy it, they're going to play it, they're going to complain, but then when the next call or Assassin's Creed comes out, they're going to open their wallets right back up.
Yeah. I want to complain about it. I do with like Call of Duty. Like, obviously, I bought it. I'm part of the problem. I understand that. One, the fact that it's $70 now, no matter the system.
Yeah.
But like, people complain, right? They're like, $70 is unfair, and all this and that. I pulled up this article. Modern Warfare 2 breaks franchise records. It made $800 million in 3 days.
Yeah. Which tells me that people buy them. And I understand as a business you want to keep making money.
Hmm.
My problem is not that they've made a 50th Call of Duty. My problem is I don't see that much of a difference between Modern Warfare 2 and Cold War. You know what? I really like Cold War because there were at least a Call of Duty. Sorry, I am all over the fucking place. Call of Duty Black Ops, I think, is my favorite series because they have the zombies. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 specifically, there were a couple of areas where the mission forked. And if something happened that wasn't supposed to, or if you were able to prevent something from happening, you would go into a completely different, like it had so much replayability because I remember one mission if the like you're going on like a freeway or something being chased and basically like if the car doesn't get blown up, then the next mission is completely different than if it did.
Yeah,
And I
and Cold War did
really
the same thing.
Cold War did something very similar, and if you notice, there's a trend. They're all Treyarch. But my complaint isn't that my complaint of stagnation isn't that there's going to be a Call of Duty 50. My complaint is that Call of Duty 50 versus Call of Duty 25, they're going to be the same exact carbon copy game, and they're not innovative enough. At the very least, if you're going to stagnation does not mean you've just put out a lot. It's you've put out a lot and it's the same thing and it's not good anymore. And I don't think it's good anymore. If you want to make a game over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I think you need to change the formula at least the way that Mario did. And I think that will get you. I mean, Activision doesn't need to take tips from me. They have record breaking sales.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long that's going to last for. And I don't know how good for the industry it's going to be in the long term. I'm curious to see if there's any repercussions of the same carbon copy formula like this. If other game developers are like, well, if Call of Duty can do this, then we can do this and get away with it. I don't know. But that's about all I've got to say about that.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm kind of tapped too, but I think what I'd like to leave the topic with is what it feels like, I think, is we have entered the era in gaming to what reality TV was for television. You take a formula and you write it out until it goes dead in the water. And it scares me and I don't want to see it because yeah, do I necessarily want to see a Call of Duty 50? Not necessarily, but I don't want it to go away either.
I just want to see them change some stuff.
Yeah,
I agree. I definitely agree. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us here at the Roundtable. No matter what platform you're nerding out with us on, we appreciate the love and support. If you're here on YouTube with us, feel free to drop a comment if you agreed or disagreed with us on today's topic. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye,
later.
everyone.